she posted about Secret Society, the film, and she did say something to the effect of, why weren't transgendered, so what's the proper terminology? Correct me if I'm wrong. Transgendered women?
I believe it's transgender women.
Transgender women. Why transgender women weren't cast to play those roles. And she basically said it was a fail, right? That because transgender women were not cast, that the film sucked, that it wasn't good, it didn't paint transgender women in a positive light, etc., etc. She and I went back and forth, not in any negative way. We were just, chatting on DM. And I basically told her the same thing I told I told you in answering your question. Hopefully at the end of the day, this film will not only shed light on transgender women, and I don't want to say the rest of it because it's going to give it away, but I think this film will open doors for the LGBTQ plus community. It's like I said, it's the first step. We can't, we couldn't have taken us the first step on the moon if we didn't learn how to propel a rocket first, right? So this film is more of, all right, this is the first step. Let's see how we continue progressing, right? We can't take 100-yard leap, or the producers or the writer or the director couldn't take 100-yard leap, or the casting director for that matter couldn't take 100-yard leap right off the bat with this kind of film. But at the end of the day, I do think Erica and Raina did an amazing job with those roles, with those characters, and hopefully, it will open doors in the future.
I personally feel that a lot of people in the LGBT community and the trans community were in uproar because the fact that they want to see a representation of themselves because the story was about them. However, I also believe that the film was telling a story about a specific community, but it was propelled towards a different community, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. That the film was for heterosexual people to watch.
Correct.
So they can understand the story of, the trans community. The trans community, the LGBT community already know their story. Mm. And I feel I have to give Miyasha the props because in the event that this film was blatantly out front about trans women, if there were 2 trans women on the front of the cover, if there were LGBT anything with inside of the actual bio or info of the story, this literally would have been an LGBT film, and anybody that was heterosexual or anything that's out of that community would have not watched or taken it seriously.
100% agree.
And I feel that was an easy way of sitting down, getting comfortable, watching a movie, and now you're already in it. And now you're watching it, and now you're learning the story. So I feel like it was very strategic. And then on top of that, you got to think about casting. Casting, the right trans women, casting the guys that are comfortable acting on set with them, and especially with intimate scenes. And then this was an independent film. It was just so much that you was going to get. Right. And I feel that if you watch this whole movie and all you got was that should have been a trans character, you missed the whole point. And I really felt that, just like how you said, this is just the first step. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not going to be right in the beginning. And at some point, trans women are going to want to portray characters as cis women. So what is the problem, really? You know what I'm saying? What are we really talking about? Because, you know, if we want to become inclusive, there are men that are portraying homosexual characters and they're not homosexual. You know, you got white chicks, they ain't white and they ain't women. But,
Yep.
you know, sometimes we get away from the film, we get away from acting, you know, did they play the part right? You know what I'm saying? And I feel that, you know, by these being cisgender women, people was already looking for them to be they was trying to notice, you know, mannerism,
Let me
or
see.
trying
Yep.
to learn, trying to see, okay, you know, what is this, you know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
because they couldn't get it because they were cis women, you know, first of all, they're beautiful, they were beautiful women, they played those parts, and I felt that at the end of the day they could have found some trans women that probably was not even passable, and then they probably would have had a problem with that as well.
Right.
However, what I did find interesting is I felt that the word man was heavy on trans women, and I don't think trans women come out as I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? So that was the part that I was kind of cringing on. And that was also the part that, you know, a lot of people in the LGBT community, specifically trans, were like, you know, nobody comes out saying I'm a man. And, you know, everything was, you know, and then every situation was almost tricking the guy out of every relationship type with the guys. I felt that there were no parts showing that the women told the guy up front. You know, every part was, it got to a violent scene because they didn't say anything. And I feel that in some cases guys do know, and in some cases a lot of trans women do tell the guys up front. How do you feel about that?